Hello, welcome, and well met. WR Frady here. Just wanted to chime in and let you see how everything's going on the map so far. Alright, if you hear the music in the background, that's the music of Windswept. Phenomenal fantasy artist. Love his music. I could listen to it hours at a time. Anyway, back to the point at hand. Alright, I'm going to flip you around here. You're going to notice some very noticeable changes since the last time I was here. Let's flip that around and take a look. Okay, you see where I've been working. I'm going to have to knock some stuff off here, but anyway. Okay, as you see, I'm putting in the names in some of these. I know some of these are going to be very difficult to see. Matter of fact, I might actually go back and fix that one while I'm on here with you. So, okay, the way that I'm doing these lettering right now is not going to be the final product of how I do the lettering. Okay, you're watching and okay. This is not the final way, I'm just getting it laid out. Although that's closer to what it's going to look like, but that was what I started. It was starting to be a little more tedious than expected. Let's see. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, now. Okay, let's do this. By getting the letter placement, that helps me get it where I need it. I'm gonna fix this one while we're here. The Demon Spine Mountains. One of the key and core. Wow, that lead just popped right on out there. Try this again. Let's enter that one. Alright. Now the demon. No, that was wonderful. Alright. Well, now that was just uncalled for. Anyway, the Demon Spine Mountains, which gets its name as when in the creation of Areth in the first era, or the first epic, or epic, however you want to pronounce it, but in the creation of Areth in the first epic, the demon lord Sparaxus, the lord of all evil, was slain by Argon, the defender, who is also slain in the battle, which gave rise to the Sea of Tears, by the way. Anyway, oh, good, I can see it now. Alright, that'll work for the Demon Spine Mountains, which, like I said, that's not a permanent. It's not a permanent design. Let's see. Oh, it's thundering here. Yeah, that's pretty good little storm rumbling out there. Alright, actually, we'll go with this one right here. I'm gonna take this one right here and I'm going to cut right across here with the eraser. Now this is not a permanent thing either. Once I get these actually inked in, I'll close the trees back in around it and then ink the trees and all that in, so everything will be going back into purpose. Alright, let's get here where you can see this. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, well, let's get you. Alright. See, I'm getting it placed up. Good old D's. Alright, now try that again. Alright, now you can see how it's coming along. Okay. There you go. Let's see. Let's go over here and take a look at these. Okay, you got riven wood. Ah, yes, you got Norwood up here, or the northern woods. Okay, get this. Alright, now get back where you can see, and then go more. There we go. Norwood. Alright. Gonna step back over here. And you got Dunwood Forest. It's the way that one was done. Let's see how I can work this. Okay. Because this part of the Amber Plains is right here. So we're gonna remember that. The amber. Let's see, I'm gonna make sure. Yeah, the Amber Plains. Okay, well, it works if I actually keep it where you can see it. I just realized my mistake there. Let me redo this. Okay. I got it where you can actually see a little better and it's a little more stable. There we go. The Amber Plains. So now we can go up here and go. Let's see if I can do this. I'm gonna pull out. Okay, there now. Let's see what's going on. Okay, this is now. Let's see if I can do this. Okay, I gotta be careful so I don't override that river. Alright. Dunwood. And now I'm going to back it up. We'll come across this way. Alright, that works. And like I said, I may fix that again at a later time. Anyway, so as you can see, it's well underway. I'm getting the Loren Heart done. So Loren Heart is right in here. Pull this out of the way. And you see right in there. So that's what you're seeing down in this area. And the map is slowly coming together. Alright. So with that, I wanted to just jump on here and show you that right quick. Which, you know, the working of a map, as you can tell, it is pretty in-depth trying to do. And really, the hardest part is just the tediousness of putting everything together and also not wanting to mess up the hard work you put into getting it to that point. So you take it a little on the easy side and make sure that everything's lined up before committing it to ink, because once it's in ink, it's a done deal. You're not getting it back without starting the entire map over. And as you can, that took some effort getting it to there, so it's not coming back. It's not going to be an easy task to have to go all the way back to the beginning and rebuild all that. So you definitely want to be careful on how you do it. Anyway, well, that being said, I'm going to jump off here and get back to work. I got some studying I want to do in the works of world building and crafting a believable and enjoyable fantasy world. So that's another thing about it, is when you're doing world building, you always want to constantly keep research, geography, social studies, geology, history, mythology, anything that can lend to commerce, trade routes, how food is that is one of those things that shapes entire kingdoms, because how that food is grown, processed, shipped, sold, that, he who controls the food controls the kingdom. Because if you don't control the food, if you don't have food, nobody eats. And so, yeah, it's really a great way to look at it. Matter of fact, there's a book called An Edible History of the World. I definitely recommend reading that. I had to read it for history class, and it was really eye-opening on how our food culture shaped the economic and political maps of the world as it grew. So very interesting to read. Um, yeah, but beyond that, getting your hands on stuff like that to build and add little elements of the story, even treatises on life and the history of the era that you're wanting to write in, like a life in the history of a medieval village, a living fantasy, and so forth. Those kind of books, uh, those kind of that kind of literature will help you build what you're wanting to do and the fantasy, and keep your fantasy world living, breathing, and believable for the people you're creating it for. Whether you're creating a fantasy world for your favorite role-playing system, Dungeons and Dragons, Castles and Crusades, or whatnot, or if you're building a world for writing. Also, you want to read, study astronomy. Look into astronomy and cosmos and the cosmology. Look into weather patterns and how placement in the world can affect weather patterns and such. So there's a lot to really draw on and draw from that will help create a truly thriving, living, breathing fantasy world for whatever project you're doing it for. But all right, with that being said, I am going to sign off of here, and I will see you guys again next time. I appreciate you stopping in. Glad to be able to do this. Hopefully, once I get to 50 subscribers, I can start doing this live and then really stream like I used to. And that way I could interact and answer questions with you guys. But I thank you again for joining me on this journey. I'm glad to, hope that you're enjoying seeing it come to fruition. I know I am. I look forward to hearing from you in the comments, and I will talk to you again soon. Have a good day, and peace out.